Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning back in again live today. It is Monday, March 3rd. It is noon here on the East Coast of the US. And welcome to the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group hosted by me, Jason Leeser. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. And you can try it out for free. There's no obligation to get a subscription right away. We offer 3 different options for you to try it out. The first option is to take a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon, where you get to go through and get a behind-the-scenes peek at what it's like to have a full Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. The second option is to get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about goal setting and your unique goals. And the third option is to take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. For fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself, cannot stress this enough, the tattoo history course is absolutely amazing. It's extremely comprehensive, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. At reinventingthetattoo.com, we also have a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. For example, if you wanted to jump into today's show, you could easily navigate over to www.reinventingthetattoo.com, find the events area and the scheduling calendar, pull that up, and all of the links to join into today's show, as well as all future shows, will be listed right there. We also offer a whole host of professional development workshops from over 20 world-class tattooers. Artists such as Andre Malcolm and BJ Betts, Bob Tyrell, and a whole lot more all have on-demand, paid-for seminars all available for purchase at reinventingthetattoo.com. We also have access to our Reinventing 24/7 channel, which is available through the website, where we have about 13 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they are all able to be streamed on a web-enabled device. Doesn't matter what platform or what size or where it is. If you have the internet, you can always stream the Reinventing 24/7 channel. We also have 2 apps in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, our Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which has 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is available on all Roku-enabled devices. And you can also find us in all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just open your web browser and do a quick search for Reinventing the Tattoo and you'll find it all. Except for the book, which is still currently out of print. The only place I've been able to find a copy is on eBay, and that was quite a bit of money. So if you're really looking for the book, try eBay. If this is working for you, please drop us a comment in the chat area and let us know that I'm not just talking to dead air. And please tag a friend that loves tattoos, whether it's someone that you know that loves getting tattooed or someone that you know that is interested in becoming a tattoo artist or a tattoo apprentice. Maybe it's someone that's been in the industry for a while and they feel like they've maybe plateaued and, they're looking for something to help, take them to another level. Tag everyone you know that you think might be interested. As always, we have a number of weekly shows that we always encourage people to tune into. Starting off on Mondays with this show, which is the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group at noon on Mondays, where we get to go through and discuss some of our skills in our skill set, some of our tools in our toolbox, and help us refine those and work on those so that we can get better at everyday tattooing. Following this show at 9 p.m. on Mondays, we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew and Guy Aitchison of the Reinventing the Tattoo Network, as well as several different guests. I can tell you from firsthand experience, going through and doing the Monday evening drawing groups for pretty much 2 years, almost 2.5 now. Just about every Monday night, you can see a remarkable increase in the quality and productivity of my work from before I started to now. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is worth every penny. Following Monday evening's drawing class, on Wednesdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we get to go through and discuss all things business in the tattoo industry. Maybe it's travel visas or advertising and marketing strategies, client and customer communication, client retention, etc., all of the stuff that's business related. That is Wednesdays at noon on the Tattoo Now show. And of course, we have a special event coming up, and that will be, wrong one, Hell City Tattoo Convention, May 2nd through 4th, 2025, at the Hyatt Regency downtown in wonderful Columbus, Ohio. And this is going to be an event you do not want to miss. It is going to feature artists such as Paul Booth and John Clue, Travis Brown, Renee Little, Ron Earhart, Amber Joy, D-Rock, Nick Mitchell from Loose Screw Tattoo, Nico Perez, Pony Lawson, Pepe Carrere, Fast Alley, Ty McEwen, Devin Cooley, Seth Mushrush, and of course, yours truly will all be in attendance, and we will all be tattooing all weekend long at the Hell City Tattoo Convention, May 2nd through 4th. Would like to go through and take a second to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with WorldTattooEvents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything updated. As we know, living in a post-pandemic era, tattoo events and conventions are still getting rescheduled. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest, most greatest tattoo convention information coming to a city or town near you, or maybe it's one you plan on visiting, and that's typically how I book all my vacations, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank TattooNow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattoo artists of all levels. They're 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you are really looking for the digital tools to help you streamline your client communication, that can really help you get more people through the door that really want to get the kind of work that you really want to do, take a look at TattooNow.com. They have been an industry leader in doing just that for over 20 years. Would also like to thank Guy Aitchison at GuyAitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. Go to GuyAitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, some of his tutorial DVDs. He's got countless fine art prints and the occasional original oil painting, all for sale at GuyAitchison.com. Would also like to say a very special thank you to Tattoos.social, the #1 place to find like-minded and welcoming community of tattoo artists. And I will throw the QR code up on the screen. It's a great welcoming community without all the drama and negativity you find on other social media tattoo communities. It combines Fireside Tattoo Network, Reinventing the Tattoo, Paradise Tattoo Gathering, and a whole lot more all together on one simple platform where all of us tend to hang out. We can answer questions, talk about stuff. It's absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend you check out tattoos.social. And of course, I would like to say a very special thank you to the Apprenticeship Diaries podcast with Amy Nichols. This is the #1 place where I send people that are inquiring about what a tattoo apprenticeship is like or advice on getting a tattoo apprenticeship. Go take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries podcast with Amy Nichols, where you can find all of that information and a whole lot more, all available for free. It's a podcast. You can find it everywhere. Go take a look. As always, if you like today's show, we ask that you go through, post a positive review on the channel, help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page, by the way. This way you stay up to date with all future upcoming episodes here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And that kind of wraps up the intro for today. Hopefully I didn't stumble too much. Oh, very nice. In camera, Mike Cole, thank you very much for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. As always, if there's ever any topics you would like me to discuss, I'll be more than happy to do so. All you got to do is just drop a comment down in the comments area, and I will be happy to start talking your ear off. Let's see what I got going on. I do have a very special helper with me today, even though you cannot see her. Her name is Stella. She is my calico, and she is a big girl. She's recently weighed in about almost 15 pounds. She's a big girl, but I love her to death, and she's a very good girl. Let's see what we're going to be working on today. All right, where's my lists? I love lists. Get to cross things off, gives you a little bit of a dopamine rush when you do. It's fantastic. Let's see. Covered that. One thing I did want to bring up and discuss is client relationships. Okay, client relationships can be the make or break in a tattoo community and in a tattoo studio and with tattoo artists, right? Building a client relationship requires communication. It requires being friendly. I think personally that there's enough attitude out there in the tattoo industry as it is. There's no need for it. Be friendly, smile, ask how people's days are going, ask how their life is going. Try to build that rapport with them. Become their friend. Someone comes in and drops $1,500, $2,000 on a tattoo that day. Take them out. Buy them a beer afterwards. Or a cup of coffee if they don't drink or you don't drink. Show them that you appreciate their business and they will continuously come back to you. It's not overstepping if you approach it like that and say, hey, listen, I'd really like to thank you for coming in today, getting this awesome tattoo that I really had a blast with, doing for you. I'd like to, treat you out, not in like a weird way, but I just wanted to show my thanks and my appreciation for you coming in to get tattooed today and not only spending a decent chunk of money, hopefully they tip you appropriately as well. So it's just my way of saying thank you. Or give them like a small print or a painting or, something that, shows that you appreciate the amount of money that they are spending. Build this up. When you build up that client relationship, it's absolutely fantastic how much people that I've noticed are struggling in this day and age, kind of make the assumption, and I'm not trying to pinpoint anyone. I'm not trying to say that this is standard practice across the board, but it's almost like they have kind of sense of entitlement where, they expect people to come in that want to spend an incredible amount of money and to constantly, well, why should I have to reach out to them? They should be reaching out to me. It's like communication is a two-way street. Effort is a two-way street. And if you want to maintain that client relationship, it's going to require little bit of effort on both sides. Unless you're someone that's so booked out that you literally don't even have time to go to the bathroom any day of the week, okay, fine. I get it. Not a problem. But extend the invitation. Make a social event. Make it something that they will remember forever. Not that they won't ever remember the tattoo, but make it meaningful. Show them your appreciation. Little things like that. Or maybe you create like a little aftercare bag, right? Those have become extremely popular. Throw in a little thing of aftercare and just say, hey, listen, normally we charge, 10, 15 bucks for one of these aftercare bags. You sat great today. I wanted to give this to you on me just to show you how much I appreciate you coming in. Little things like that can really go a long way and can really, really help spread the word with your clientele base and with all of their friends, all of their family, all of the people that they run into on the street that comment on their tattoo. It's going to help them spread the word for you, right? And it's little things like that that can really make a world of difference. You get the same person coming back in 5, 10 years in a row getting tattooed. Maybe they don't get super huge pieces, but maybe they get a whole bunch of smaller ones. Maybe they're coming in religiously once every 3 months or so just to get, a little palm-sized banger. Well, over time, that adds up. Do something nice for them. Find out what kind of stuff they're into. Maybe go to an antique shop and be like, hey, I remember you said you collect, old shaving razors, like men's shaving razors. Well, I was at a thrift shop. I found this. It was pretty cheap. Thought you might enjoy it. Don't know if you have anything like this or not, but I saw it and I thought of you. Here you go. You know, just little stuff like that that's not going to cost you a lot of time or money, but it will mean the world to your client. And that can make or break your local clientele. If your clients show up and they drop $3,000 in one day, spending on a full day session, and you just say, hey, thanks for coming in. It's like, I just dropped $3,000 on you. Like, show a little appreciation. Like, yeah, I spent $3,000 on the tattoo. I tipped you appropriately. There's like another, almost $1,000, that I'm giving you just as a tip. And all you're saying is thanks. And I'm not saying your clients should expect anything, but if you show a little bit of an appreciation, it can really go a long way. So it's just something I wanted to touch on. It requires effort on both sides. If your client, basically just says, hey, I want to get tattooed, well, you obviously know that they're not willing to put effort into communicating what they want to get, unless you know them and have been tattooing them for a long period of time. All right, fine, I get that. But if it's a new client and they're not even willing to tell you what they're trying to get done, maybe it's not the kind of person that, you're going to want to tattoo. Just throwing it out there. If they're willing to put in the effort to say, hey, I'd love to get tattooed by you. Here's what I'm looking to get done. Don't know if it's in your style, but I wanted to come in and talk to you and see if you had some time to sit down and chat about it. Or maybe they live out of state and they're traveling to get tattooed by you. Great, let's hop on a Zoom. Zoom is free. You can have a 45-minute Zoom call for free. Hop on Zoom with them. Meet them. Say hi. Let them see your face. Talk to them about what they're trying to get done. Tell them about the experience and how to prepare for it. And just, create that kind of a friendly, welcoming environment. It can really go a long way for you selling a larger piece. It can really, really help things just really bloom, especially in this day and age during the tattoo apocalypse that we seem to be in right now with the economy the way it is. And don't be afraid to give yourself a little bit of a raise too. Things are slowing down. Everything is getting more expensive. It seems counterintuitive. A lot of people may turn around and say, oh, well, if I lower my rates, I can probably get a lot more people in here. Well, you probably can, but are these going to be the people that you want to tattoo? Aw, Stella. All right, get down. So ask yourself that. There's a big difference between quality and quantity. Would you rather do and tattoo one client that really wants to get the kind of work that you really want to do, that is willing to pay the price, whatever you tell them it is? Or would you rather try to get in 15 people that all want to get smaller stuff that, isn't your style, isn't your thing, stuff that you really don't want to do? Maybe it's a balance. Now, granted, a lot of, I call them younger tattoo artists, might not have that opportunity. Maybe they don't have a style yet, which I personally don't think really develops until you hit like around maybe the 10-year mark, where you really have your fundamentals down solid. You've really started to see a lot of things come back healed, that, and you've seen how it ages and you see what works well, and you really kind of have that amount of experience under your belt. So you can kind of start to gear what it is you enjoy doing more in that direction. Personal opinion there. Some people may debate me on that, and that's fine. I'm more than welcome for discussion. But if you don't really have a style yet and you're just trying to do every tattoo that comes through the door, great. Do it. Doesn't mean that you should need to lower your prices. Um, People have money. Tattoos are a luxury item. Tattoos are not a necessity. People that come in to get tattooed, maybe they have an itch, maybe, it's a desire of theirs, but that's a desire. It's not a necessity. It is not a requirement for them to live. Tattoos are considered a luxury item. Remember that. So people that come in, that reach out to you, that want to get tattooed, it's a luxury item. They need to be willing to pay. And, the studio minimum is a studio minimum, but that doesn't mean that you should go out of your way and do more just for the minimum, right? Charge appropriately. So that's my 2 cents on a few things. I'm going to be working on drawing up an ornate kind of like frame today for a tattoo I have coming in towards the end of the month. So I'm going to switch this guy over. There we go. Let me put picture on. Yay. So I've got this little reference here of this flower that I saw. It was a little sketch I found online. And it just kind of inspired me. I like the way that some of this stuff, is just very simple. So I'm going to be looking at that today just as like an inspiration. Not that I'm going to try to draw anything like that, but it's just something that, inspired me to kind of draw more of like an ornamental style frame. And I'm going to try to draw something a little bit different too. Typically, if I was, oh, that's a stamp brush. Where's my sketcher? Typically, if I was to draw an ornamental frame, I'd start out with something like an oval, and just go based off of that. And I may still stick with this. It's actually not a bad idea to use that as a base. But I know for a fact I'm not going to end up with an oval shape. What I would really like to do is maybe, you know what, let me switch this over to rotational symmetry. Oh, there we go. I'd really like to, once again, wrong one. There we go, vertical. So maybe coming up with like a little bit more of like a funky design, just something different. Maybe I have like a little ornament in here. Maybe I just start this from down here and just bring it down. That might be different, might be interesting. Just trying to come up with something like a unique kind of shape. Just really trying to block some stuff in, not really worrying about if any of it looks good, not really worrying about if any of it, fits right or what my ultimate vision for it's going to be. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of play around. And just exercise some of those creative muscles. Maybe I'll bring it out a little bit more and I'll do almost like an odd shaped square kind of frame. Who knows? Not really super thrilled about that. Typically anytime I'm doing stuff like this, unless it's something I know I'm not going to want, I just keep it nice and loose and I try not to erase. Um, I also try to draw very lightly, very transparent, and then just kind of build it up as I'm sketching. It's something I found that can really, really help. Um, just really help you define your shapes and your forms. I'm not drawing super huge with a super huge brush. I'm just kind of, drawing with like a medium sized tip, but I am going over a lot of different spots just to kind of refine some things. Maybe I'll have that come up there. No, I said I didn't want to do that. Maybe I'll thin it out a little bit more. And I'm not liking these ornaments on the inside at all. It's not calling out to me. Maybe if I bring this over a hair more, kind of off-center it. Then I could always bring that back up and around. Now I can keep like a straight portion here. That actually wouldn't be too bad. Kind of like an offside diamond. And I'd get rid of that part. Maybe that'll work. Something different, something unique. Then I can always kind of curve this around. Maybe I will just bring a little curl up there. Who knows? Let's start again. Not a fan. Alright, so let's go back into quadrant. And good. Let's do, make sure drawing assist is on. Maybe I'll do a couple of flower petals that are a little bit wider than they are tall. And then I'll probably end up using this for like an ornament at the top. As I refine my sketches, I'm going more opaque and smaller to try to hone down on the amount of detail that I would eventually like it to have. Just trying to keep it nice and loose, not really super refining anything. Still drawing pretty light and pretty transparent. I'm just using a much smaller brush, but it's still only at about, what, 60%. So it's not super dark yet. This still allows me to sketch and refine some things as I go over it multiple times. This one. It's always nice to derive inspiration from things that you see online, but I do everything I can to try to stay away from copying anything I see online. I will use it to inspire me. Maybe it's a certain part of, a flower, or maybe it's a certain way someone rendered something or a light source on something. It's just always something I try to stay inspired by without actually trying to, duplicate that actual design. I'm not a fan of replicating things. I believe that, all tattoos should be unique, whether they are drawn and commissioned individually by the client, or even if a client comes in with a picture and says, "Hey, I want this." It's like, okay, well, what do you like about it, right? What about this makes you so attracted to this design? Is it the way that it's done? Is it the subject matter? Is it the fact that it's a flamingo or a palm tree or a lily flower? Sometimes clients don't know. If they like the subject matter, cool, great. Let me draw up something for you that's going to be unique, that no one else will have, that will be 100% just for you, right? And we can render it the same way, we can draw it the same way, we can have the same kind of light source, the same kind of shading, we can do it in the same kind of style if you want. But let me draw up my own version of it and then tell me which one you like more, right? It's always a good way to kind of sell the idea of, let me draw something unique for you. You are not like other people, so why should you have someone else's tattoo? To me, it makes sense. And a lot of my clients really appreciate the extra effort I put in to take something that they find online and make it special and unique just for them. So from here, turn the opacity down on that. Maybe I'll do it in purple. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. Just trying to throw some of these ruffled edges or scalloped edges in here. Just think it'll give it a nice little textural difference between a lot of the ornamentation I'll be putting along the sides. In fact, what I might end up doing is taking these ornaments and putting them at the four corners. That way, yeah, right? It makes sense, right? Draw something unique for someone. Um, Sorry, just saw your comment there, Atomic. You know, a lot of times when people bring in designs that they find online, they have no idea that something better is even possible. And if they don't know that something better is even possible, then they're going to go with what they know. Um, you know, what I've gotten into the habit of doing is telling my clients, you know, if they know, for example, they want a lily flower, I'm like, cool. Go online, instead of looking at lily flower tattoos, go online and send me photos of lily flowers, like photographs that you see. Go to your local florist. Ask them if you can photograph their selection of lily flowers. You know, tell them it's for an art project or something. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, not a problem. You know, it's like, send me photos of what it is you're trying to get done, and I'll draw it in my way, and I can guarantee you will be much happier with that in the long run than you ever would be with this tattoo coming in and trying to get it done exactly the way that it is. The only and this has been debated in the tattoo community for probably generations, but the only time that ever comes into like question in studios that I have noticed is when someone is hell bent on getting that exact design in that exact place, and they are going to spend their money to get that exact design exactly where they want it. And whether you do it or not doesn't matter. They know that they are getting that exact design in that exact place. You know, whether it's, a name on their throat or exactly, Atomic. Send me photos, not tattoos, because the tattoo you're getting will not look like the tattoos that you were going to send me. Um, but the thing that gets debated is if this person's money is burning a hole in their pocket and they're going to get that tattoo in that location on that day, and it's either you or someone else, well, now it becomes a moral decision, right? Is that really something you are comfortable with doing, knowing the potential ramifications of that? And this is where it gets into a circle of debate, because the question then becomes, are we supposed to be policing and regulating the tattoos that people get? Or is our job simply to function as an applicator for the desired tattoo and not worry about the ramifications of that tattoo later on, because ultimately it is their body and their decision. So that's where a lot of people do have a tendency to debate this. And I've heard both sides of the argument, and I have my own opinions on it. Um, and, that kind of is what it is. And when I was coming up in the tattoo industry, a lot of people had that mindset of, if this is what they want, if this is where they want to put it, you sit down and you do that tattoo, because we need the money coming through the door, and if we don't do it, they're gonna go to someone else. And it's never something that's really ever sat very well with me. Is doing tattoos just for the money. You know, yeah, we all need to make money. Yes, we all have bills to pay. Um, Sit down, look over what we've come up with before I design. Yeah, absolutely, man. I love doing that. I love bouncing ideas off of other artist friends, and um, it can really help just create a more unique and collaborative way of doing things. And the client, 9 times out of 10, is going to be way happier with it in the long run. So I love doing stuff like that as well. It was just another topic from Atomic there. Right, exactly. We are artists. You know, this is what we do. We create art. You know, we can replicate art, and there are many tattooers out there that are very good at being Xeroxes and replicating images. Um, you know, and that, hey, more power to you. If that is what you enjoy doing, by all means, I'm not going to stand in your way of pursuing your happiness, but I am an artist. I create works of art. I create custom drawings and paintings and illustrations and designs for my clients. That is what I do. And, you know, I have the skill set to do it and do it well. And that is what I prefer to do. Not saying I can't replicate a design. I definitely can. When I was first starting out, that's pretty much all I did. Um, but, you know, as you get a little bit older into the tattoo scene, you start to realize that there's more to it, right? And that's kind of the stage at which I've found myself in this industry. Um, and it's just something that, you know, I really try to push my clients to understand a little bit more. And we'll just add in like a nice little ornamental center here. Maybe we'll do some dots and we'll surround it by black or something like that. I don't know. But this will give us the gist to kind of start with everything. And then we'll just kind of go through and erase some of this stuff. And maybe we'll just do like some dots or something like that. And we'll do a border of black. I don't know, something maybe like that. Typically what I like to do in this case, once I'm done drawing that kind of a design, I'll take my rectangular selection tool and I will add a little bit more to it. Right about there. Cool. Copy and paste. That way I've got one half of it. And this half I can kind of go through. Well, we'll just hold on to that as the master selection. Shrink this down a bit. Put that there. We'll do one there. And then we'll duplicate. Flip vertical. And then try to get it lined up as best we can. There's a reason why I'm doing these each in a different layer, by the way. And that is because I may end up either getting rid of one or two of them if I wanted to do a different style frame or a different odd-shaped frame, but I still wanted to keep the ornament. Then I would need the ability to kind of go through and, you know, adjust them as I need to. Cool. We'll just keep that in a separate group. This we can hide. And now we are on to the sides. Let's do vertical. And we'll switch back to our big sketcher. Maybe we'll do... Nah, I'm not a big fan of that. I do like the top portion. Yeah, we'll just stick with an oval frame today. So we'll come back in here and we'll do quadrant. Now that I already have a rough idea of shape, because I technically only need it on one half of it, I can go through, I'll make this a little smaller, go with like a light blue, maybe make it a little darker, 50%. Forgot to turn on my drawing assist. There we go. I've been taking a lot of inspiration lately from old gilders' ornaments. Gilding is like gilding in gold is a practice that was done applying gold leaf to different things. So you see that a lot in old Baroque picture frames, a lot of old Baroque ornaments, and it can really kind of spice things up and make things look a lot more fancy. So it's something I've just been drawing a lot more inspiration from lately. And their corner ornaments are fantastic. You see a lot of seashells and scallop designs. You see a lot more acanthus leaf scroll work and ornamental flourishes. Some are carved out of wood, some are made out of a material called compo, where there's a mold that gets created. You can even find different Baroque ornaments that are, basically pressed into fondant mold. And those can be really inspiring, especially if you really want to work on light source. You can always make a mold, make an ornament, and then light it in different ways and look at the way that the light plays over different aspects of it, and then incorporate that into what it is you do. It's just a different way to practice drawing. If you're not sure of your light source, it's always nice to have something tangible in front of you that you can go through and you can look at and say, hey, maybe I was wrong with where the shadows are going to fall on this. Maybe it would look better if it looked like this. So just food for thought. Maybe I want to add a bit of a scroll design here. And we can kind of bring this up and around. Maybe we'll bring this over and around a little bit more. Not super crazy about it. So let's do something a little bit different. What if we started out here, kind of concave this part in, and added an ornament over here? Maybe even bring it down further. Then we could always have a piece coming down like this. Now I've got several weeks to kind of play with this. Well, maybe not several weeks, but I've got some time to play with these ideas and concepts. Based on the location of the body, I may change the shape of the frame. But as it stands, if I did a couple of exterior lines, just to kind of thicken it up and make it look like a picture frame, I could very easily get away with a design like this. Throw something nice in the middle of it. I'm actually going to be doing an old hospital syringe because the person that I'm designing this for is a nurse, and they wanted to get some type of old nursing type of equipment and did not want to do a stethoscope because they thought that those were like everyone that they knew had them. So I was like, all right, well, we could always go with like an old school syringe. That could work. Or maybe like one of those reflective head pieces that, surgeons used to wear to help reflect light so that they could see a lot better what they were looking at. Just different things. And they decided to go with an old school, vintage style hospital syringe. So what I may end up doing is actually doing something a little bit taller. As opposed to an oval frame, I may end up going with more of a rectangular frame. But just because we're here and I've got a little bit more time before I have to go, I am going to play around with, let's do, good, drawing assist. Let's do something a little wacky. Yeah, I have rotational on. Let's turn that back off. What if we took it, went out, and then down? That would give me a much more linear kind of look. I'm trying to avoid a coffin shape because I have a tendency to go for those. Yeah, business is picking up. It's always nice when that happens. It is tax return season, though. And as we all know, tax return season is my favorite time of the year. It's the one time of year when people have unexpected disposable income that they, especially if the economy is down, they will typically spend it on something that they want that makes them feel better about themselves or their situation. And that, quite frankly, often translates into it's time for a new tattoo. And that to me is like my favorite time of year when people realize that. Or they want to get their new tattoo before the warm weather hits, so that way they're not jeopardized from going into a pool or going to the beach or not having it in direct sunlight for the first couple of weeks, even though I typically tell them to, if they really want to take care of it right, avoid direct sunlight completely with their new tattoo. Or just with any tattoo. If you really want it to hold up the best over time, don't have it in the sun. Yeah, I would love to do that. They are going for all black and gray though. Otherwise, I would push them for like almost like an ecto cooler green. How it's that real kind of like palish, greenish, teal kind of tone. I think that would be pretty sick. Although it might also look pretty nice with, just like a nice single pop of color in there. That could look really cool as well. And as long as it's not super vibrant, I think it would work well. Whenever I'm dealing with like a hexagon type of frame, typically speaking, I always like to dome it in a little bit on the edges. It just gives it a little bit more of a structural kind of feel. Think about old, like, Gothic arches, right? Gothic arch would come down at each part. So you would end up having these, like, almost like points for the Gothic window. Um, and it kind of looks a little bit more geometric, but I'm trying to avoid anything too geometric. If I was going to keep this kind of a shape, this is where I would definitely try to make it a bit more ornamental. And I would add different types of ornaments and flourishes and scroll work. Um, maybe from the inside, or maybe I would have that curling from the outside. Curling from the outside might look a little bit better. Of course, knowing me, I'll probably add, like, other types of accents and flourishes on the inside. Maybe even a little ornament at the top and bottom. But because the syringe is going to be much taller than it is wide, I'll probably avoid those interior ornaments on the tops and bottoms. What I could possibly try to do is maybe do some filler along the sides. Just kind of frame it in a little bit more. Typically, though, whenever you're drawing acanthus leaf scroll work, you want to make sure that your branches coming off of your center stem line, though, are coming off at the right point, at the right bend angle. So you want everything to be very naturally flowing. So if this part's coming around in this kind of a direction, right, then this, I would want to continue that line, and then this would smoothly come off at the side. You want everything to look like it belongs and that it's being done in a conscious fashion so that it's all part of one bigger piece. And I think that's something that some people maybe don't really execute so well whenever they're drawing scroll designs. It's just my 2 cents. If I'm going to do that, then I will probably also create a little bit of a branch off of the center portion. Maybe I'll dome it in a little bit more, really kind of pinch it in to give it almost like an hourglass kind of look. Now, not being perfectly certain where they want to put this tattoo, then that's where things kind of get a little tricky. So right now I'm just kind of spitballing. But I'm pretty sure, I think I remember them saying they want to put it on the back of their forearm. So I should be heading in the right direction. Maybe I'll create a little ornament up here, almost like a fleur-de-lis. And then if I'm going to do that, then I'll probably add another little flourish coming off to the side here, just to help bring some balance. And now I'm looking at something much taller than it is wide. I could probably go through and get away with erasing some of these and just keeping it more of a smoother side, if you will. Maybe even rounding some of it out. I think that might look a little bit nicer. It would also help cut down on the width, the overall width. But still helping me maintain a much more elongated kind of shape. Not exactly super Baroque, but if it works, it works. On the sides, maybe I'll do like a little bit of a scallop design or like a scroll almost. I think that could look pretty nice. And kind of blend it in with more of a Baroque style. Or sorry, more of a Rococo kind of style. Yeah. Now we've got a nice little concept for a ornamental frame for this old school hospital syringe. Because if the syringe, let's just say, next part, drawing assist, vertical. Because if we have our 2 finger holes, our plunger, the body, right, if I remember correctly, the body would be somewhere here, would start about there. I'm not sure what the technical term for the finger holes on an old school syringe are. I know it's got to have some type of a technical term, but I have no idea what it might be. And then from there, we would have the actual hypodermic portion. If I really wanted to be adventurous, I would do the thumb hole up here on top of the plunger. Maybe do like a plunger coming like halfway back. And this is without me looking at any kind of a reference as far as like what an old school syringe might look like. But I think it looks something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows? But now I've got something that kind of fits in pretty well. If I really wanted to spice things up a little bit, I could always bring these ornaments over and around a bit more, just to kind of fill up some more of this negative space. Might make it look a little busy, but at the same time, it's just an idea that I'm playing around with. So, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed today. Just me doodling around. As always, if anyone has any questions or anything they'd like to chat about on the next episode, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. You can find it right up here at Philly Inc. Or you can always email me, jason@reinventingthetattoo.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until next week, hope everyone keeps their hands busy. Stay safe, stay busy. Always keep creating art no matter what, even if it's drawing, painting, in between appointments, something. Always keep your hands busy, always keep your hands moving, and keep those ideas coming. Stay safe, and I'll see everyone next week for the next episode of Skill Building Monday Drawing Group here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network.